And there we are. Now we're actually, I think we're live. Good evening, guys. Brian here.
Rodney here.
Nice to have you guys on board again. We're just here this evening. We're just testing this out, just giving it a bash, giving it a whirl, seeing how it works under the hood. It's taken us about 5 minutes just to figure out how to switch the thing on, but we have figured it out, and we're there. So, I hope there's some people on board. If you're there, give us a thumbs up on the right-hand side. Like the channel, subscribe. These are the things we need you to do. If there's anyone there that can see us at the moment, just let us know that you're there. And then we can answer questions as we go along.
Good. Awesome stuff, man. Yeah, guys, we just need to, I think, do this a little bit more often so that you guys can see us and hear from us and we can talk about things a little bit more. So tonight is actually just a test phase of how it works and what you guys think. We'll be telling you a little bit about what we're doing. But right now we just want to see if we can get it up and working 100%. So yeah, let us know. Awesome.
Good stuff. So let's kick it off a little bit, and we'll talk about some of the stuff that we've been up to recently, and where we're at, and what we're doing with USAF. Some interesting things that are of note is that we've obviously been looking at the land issue. There's a couple of issues, of course, we want to discuss with you in terms of the banking. So we'll let you know what those things are. I'll let Rodney talk a little bit about the land issue and why we've decided on a specific area. As you well know, it's in the Western Cape, but we'll have a quick chat about that.
Yep, absolutely.
Yeah. Good stuff. I'm not seeing if there's anyone there at the moment. We're not getting anybody.
I see some people up there. It's 5.
Okay, seems to be some people are joining. Okay, good stuff. Well, it's good. Welcome all the guys there. Nice to see you.
I got to figure out how I get it on my phone now, so I can see.
We'll figure it out. We'll figure it all out. So Ragnar's there. Evening, Ragnar. How are you doing?
Okay. Good stuff.
Good stuff, man.
All right. So Brian, maybe whilst there are people on already, maybe you want to just start telling them where we are with certain things that we've got.
Well, let's talk quickly about the banking system, because one of the things we wanted to do was to incorporate the ability to do international transactions. Now, one of the reasons we did that is because there's a lot of Zuid-Land citizens, a lot of USAF citizens that are outside of South Africa at the present moment in time. They may well be South Africans with South African citizenship, but they're not currently living in South Africa. So the reason was that we decided then what we would do is we would split PayApp and Digibank, and PayApp is now becoming, in essence, the local arm payment structure, and then Digibank is becoming our international structure. So in essence, it'll be an exchange for foreign currency. Okay, right. I see we've got a few other people there as well. Hein, how are you doing, Hein? I just want to say to Hein, thanks very much. Shout out to Hein quickly. He helped us fantastically last night with some of the work we had to do for James. Thank you very much, Hein. Okay, so.
All right. So, yeah, I think let's, I can't seem to get this thing working on this side. So let's just discuss. We obviously, as most of you know, we've earmarked a territory where we believe is going to be the best opportunity to initially get ourselves internal self-determination and freedom. We obviously chose it very carefully when it came to the fact that it needed to be the right size. It needed to have arable land. It needed to have fewer people than a big city or places like Saldanha, because we didn't want anything that is going to be difficult to get away from, whether it be the government or the municipality or whatever, where there's a big infrastructure. So we thought we'd rather go for a place where we could go and build it ourselves, where nobody can say that we've taken over something that was theirs, and we can create a place where we've got a safe haven. So that's ideally what we did. The demographics are good. It's a very good area. on the West Coast, good fishing. So we'll be fishing quite a lot from
once we get our fishing rods down there. But what's very interesting to note as well is an extremely important at this point is that there's a lot of work ahead of us, guys. This is not a flick the switch and we're down there and everything's hunky-dory and happy. And, there's going to be a lot of work involved. Hi there, Hartman. How are you doing? So, guys, if you're seriously considering coming down and joining us, and Rodney and myself are actually seriously looking at very shortly moving down to that area. Obviously, we're going to start out like everybody else. We got to find a place to stay. We got to decide how we're going to make things work there for us. But I think all in all, I think it's going to be a fantastic move. I mean, we spent a week down there. Well, it was 4 or 5 days down there. Just over a week ago, and to be honest with you, it's a different lifestyle. If you're living up in Gauteng or you're living in one of the other provinces, it's a vastly different lifestyle up that side on the West Coast. It really is completely different. So I think there's a bit of a learning curve involved, and I'm excited. I'm really excited about making this happen. I'm looking forward to the move. I'm looking forward to being able to make the changes that is gonna affect our lives, affect my life, my family, and definitely affect the ability for us to create a safe haven for our people. This is of vital importance because we don't want to be stuck in this almost
16,000 hijackings in 2 months in Gauteng type environment.
It's ridiculous. No, it's we got to get away from it and into an environment where we can look after ourselves, rule ourselves, do the things that are important to us as a community. So
yeah, I think the greatest thing and why I'm going to move as soon as possible is obviously the reason for everything we're doing is for our families, especially our children.
Yeah.
We know that it's far too dangerous where we're living at the moment, and every day you hear you're worried about whether your family's going to get home safely or not, and it's not a way to live. So I would, in essence, rather go start again from scratch in a place that I've got safety, where my children are getting taught to the right education. So our education committee is obviously gone for the ACE system, which is a really good schooling system, where we don't get taught the rubbish and what our kids are getting taught nowadays. And for me, it's imperative that we teach our kids the right things, okay? That they have that moral Christian background that doesn't steer them into a course of where we see the society going today. So we want to get down. We want a place of safety. We want a place where we can build without somebody coming to take it or burn it down. We want a place where our children can get educated and where they can feel free to walk the streets if need be without fear. And that's all of what we're going to create. So whether anything else doesn't happen, that is going to happen. So it's already 300 times safer in that environment down there to what it is up here in Gauteng, for example, and probably Cape Town, if you ever look at the murder rate in Cape Town at the moment, and any other major city. So yeah, we're going to go and we're going to make this work. And Brian and I will be there to show you that we're going to go there and make it work. We're not going to be sitting somewhere and expecting everybody else to go into an area. We're going to do it ourselves, and we're going to go make it happen. We've looking at a lot of different ways of being able to get people who can't afford, who do not have lots of money, to be able to get there as well. One of those is going to be buying up farmland and dividing it into stands that's cheap enough for people to be able to get an input into the system. For those who can't afford anything, we're obviously looking at the kibbutz system, where the guys are going to be able to move in, start working for a living, and work their way out of poverty, so that they actually create business for themselves, in fact. So whatever they grow and sell, and they make money out of it, and they pay rent, and they get themselves to a position in society where they're not beholden on handouts. And as you can probably imagine, at this moment, we do not have any funds to be able to pay anybody for handouts. So anybody who thinks they're going to come down and have a free ride, that ain't going to happen. We're all going to have to work to make this happen. But it's the best opportunity we have. And as you probably know, we did the secession with the Khoi King. So we've walked this route. We understand what can and what can't be done. We understand the time frame we have left. And I think that's very important, is that time frame, because although I don't think we're going to be breaking out in civil war soon, though that's a possibility, what I do know is that economically we're going to collapse soon. And, as Brian has said, once the economy collapses and the government can't pay 17 million people SASSA grants, you're going to have anarchy.
Yeah, without fail. That's definitely, that's on the cards, eh?
And at that stage, we don't want to be here.
Yeah.
We want to be in an area where we have the ability to defend ourselves should they ever come that far, which I doubt they're ever going to get there anyway. But we all want to be in that place of safety. So that's what we're going to do. And, I think we don't need 1 million people to come and join us. We really don't. 20,000 people who've already signed up as citizens, if they all joined us down there, we've got an economy, we've got enough to make it happen.
Yeah.
International funding and that for humanitarian aid will come. We'll probably be getting that for like the kibbutz system and that, because that's what they do. There's humanitarian funds out there that are looking for opportunities to help individuals. So that's quite easily accessible once you can prove that the people who are running the show and that the funds will be safe and that it is for what it was designated to do, that happens. So I think we've got great opportunities there. And when we get down there and start the economy out, there's going to be job opportunities flying. Let's take, we put 500 stands up. People will buy those stands, and not everybody might move right now because they may, like me, have to sell a house or sell your shares in your businesses and move. But they will, in the meantime, start building a house.
I think what everyone needs to understand as well is at this point in time that there's going to be different levels of society. So, if people have money and they have the ability to move and start a business and do whatever, then that's up to them. They can do that. And then there's everything all the way down to those people who have been unemployed in South Africa under the ANC regime. And I know what it's like. People who've been unemployed for years have lost dignity, have lost faith, have lost faith in society. And we want to bring that back. We've got to bring that back into our people, into our population, and get those people back to a functioning lifestyle where they can feel dignity again and pride, self-pride.
Yeah.
And be proud of the community in which they live and with the people in which they associate with. And that's what we're looking forward to doing. That's absolutely what we're looking forward to.
So what I was saying is, you got all of that, and then you got, if people are building houses, you need builders. And if you got builders, you need plumbers, you need electricians, you need people to do sewage.
And each of those people needs to shop. They need to buy food. They need to, they need to buy all sorts of things.
So starting the economy is not that difficult. The other thing that we will be looking at is, firstly, like I said, the kibbutz system, where you've got humanitarian aid getting put in. That itself creates an economy, because you have to build all the kibbutz housing. You've got to put up farming areas. You've got to do all those type of things. And once again, you have an economy. Now, you must understand that the areas down there have people, but not a lot of people. So, yes, we will be looking at employing those people as well. But in essence, we only employees. Okay, we're not going to be employing anybody else. So we're going to keep this as internal self-determination, as a cultural village like Oranje, and we'll expand it as the time comes. So, I think initially we've got a lot of exciting things.
Extremely exciting.
The investment on the ability to move pensioners in, so we could get investment to build retirement villages, where your investor obviously makes his money back over a period of a couple of years, which is all part of what the fund managers and that do. But once again, the building of those structures, and that in that environment it automatically starts creating job creation, and it gets you kickstarts your economy, as well as your pensioners who are coming in. And why we target pensioners for this purpose is because your pensioner is getting an income, and that income then is used and spent in the environment. So they're going to need doctors and nurses and
food
clinics,
and whatever else. Yeah, exactly.
Pharmacies,
mechanics fixing cars, and so on and so on.
So all of that creates your economy. So that's what we're going to be looking to do, and this is going to happen in a short space of time. Obviously, the quicker the better for us, but we don't want to rush into it either, and we need to make sure there's a lot of things set up when it comes to investment and the ability. But I think one thing we've got to make clear to the people is that we're not there to look for housing for you. We're not there to provide a job for you. We're not there to ensure that your kids have a school. I think a lot of that you guys are going to have to make sure and understand that what you're moving into is going to be initially a little bit challenging. So we need those pioneers. We want those guys. One of the greatest things I did with the poll on Facebook was say, who's prepared to move there even if it was to camp? And I was absolutely surprised to how many people are so, can I use the word, gatvol?
Yeah, gatvol.
So
exactly.
So gatvol.
Exactly.
That they would move there and just camp.
Yeah.
And that's the guys we need on board to get this thing kickstarted. So yeah, great.
But the nice thing about it as well is that once we all get down there and we start this economy going, I promise you the amount of people that are going to want to come and join us is going to be immense. I have absolutely no doubt about that whatsoever. So I see at the present moment in time, we just got just under 30 people on here at the present moment, which is nice. Thanks, guys, for all signing in and watching us. Let's move on to some questions. I'm sure you guys are burning to ask questions out there. So fire away, guys. We're here to answer questions tonight. This, as I said, was just a test run for us to see how this whole YouTube live streaming thing works. Give it a bash, see how it's working, and then but we want you guys to interact. So talk to us. We've always said to people that we're not above everyone else. We're part of you. We're part of the community. We're part of the situation. We have the same fears, the same life experiences that you guys do on a daily basis in South Africa. So ask away, shoot with your questions.
Yeah, so I think, guys, as Brian says, maybe we give a little bit of background whilst Brian was waiting for some questions to come up. I got involved in this, and I think I've done it on the radio channel a bit. I run a few companies. I started a few companies 22 years ago. I had nothing. It wasn't like I inherited millions that I created my businesses with. And I built my to 22 years later to quite a nice size. And I just see it diminishing in front of my eyes all the time. The bees coming in, and I can't leave it to my kids, and I can't do anything in order to keep those businesses to the level I want to leave them to. So I think that's where I got to that point. I'm not a politician, and the one thing I do have though is I have faith, and I have the abilities that 22 years of business has taught me. And one of the things I do know is this is 100% doable. I can do this. This is, the one thing about the King's secession is we had to rely on the King and his people for certain aspects of that secession that didn't come through. And it always made Brian and I a little bit uncomfortable, but it was something we had to do and had to give it a chance.
Yeah.
And hopefully if it had come off, we'd have been a lot better off than we now, because every month that goes by, we lose value as a people. We
lose people as a people. There's people leaving the country on a rapid scale.
There's people getting killed on a rapid scale.
And there's people getting killed, and hijacked and everything else.
So, the whole reason behind the system that we use, the transactional system, the digital currency system, is that we can save that value. And all of these are, we've got the auditors looking and working on it. We've got a legal team going now. We've got actually quite a high-powered legal guy who's on board with us. and all this, the land and all those kind of things are going to go through all the right fashions to make sure that you guys understand nobody's going to run away with your money. Okay, nobody's going to steal anything from you, because that's not what we do, and that's not what we're in this for. So, and you guys can welcome to question that at every step of the way. You're welcome to make sure that everything you do with us, that your funds are secure, because that's what you need to do as a person. If you do anything else, you're stupid. All right. So check it out. Make sure that you're comfortable. But everything we do, and when we're looking at funds and fund managers, it will all be through professional people. That when you invest in land, or you want to pay off land, and they're going to give you a loan for it, it'll all be through legitimate, 100% legal fashion, okay? Where it's not with people who haven't got the qualifications or the certification or whatever the case may be to do this type of stuff. So, we've got to get to a point, though, where we get behind this and we make it happen.
Yeah.
Because Brian and I, we can move down there and we've got ourselves a lack of living in a nice territory. But we cannot help you get freedom and your self-determination unless you get involved, unless you help us.
Yeah.
We can then get
need the numbers. Yeah. I see Hardman has asked a question there quickly about people joining the kibbutz system and the kibbutz project. And if they have children, what are they going to do with those kids? Well, I'm not sure exactly how that's going to work, but in essence,
they live in the system. So they live in the houses, and you have your whole family there, as far as I'm aware. But you can check with Catherine. But as far as I know, it's not like you just have the men working there or just the women. Everybody in the whole family can live there. And the children, obviously, as Brian always says, is what's really important to us, because that's our future. And so those kids we will have to put through school and proper schooling, because otherwise we're creating tomorrow's nightmares.
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. So one of the important things, and this is what people need to understand, from our perspective, our value system, as Rodney and myself, is definitely about family. Family is the important factor. There's no reason to do this apart from for family. So if we can, for the best of our ability, we definitely want to keep families together without fail. Yeah. Okay, so let's see if there's any more questions there.
There's a lot of things popping up. I just can't read it. My eyesight and glasses.
You need to pop your glasses back on again. I'm just going to click over to something else here quickly and just want to see something here.
Okay, I think whilst Brian's carrying on there, I think a lot of people have asked us about the hospitals in the area. So let's just tell you a little bit about the area. Okay, we've got a couple of towns, and the major probably being Veldrift, and then we've got Aurora, which we see as probably being the capital city, which we'd like to. It's nice and centered in that area at the moment, and obviously it's got the infrastructure, schools, etc., which are underutilized because of the size of the population. So we've got Redlinghuis, which has also got a primary school in that which is on the other side, opposite to where Veldrift is. And then you've got Elands Bay, which is opposite to Veldrift, but on the sea. So, I think we've got a real good mix of area, but we will be starting more than likely in Aurora. Now, Brian is going down there in a week's time or so. So anybody in the area who would like to meet up with Brian, just pop us a Facebook message, or
we can always stop and have a coffee somewhere. Nothing wrong with that. Up to you. I see Gert is on there as well, and Gert nou vraag gevra. Gaan julle ook na Matikama streek kyk? Where is that,
Okay, I don't actually know, Gert, but just for everybody's information, so good question. We're obviously starting in an area initially, and initially is because what you can't do is you can't fail in your first area because it's too large or the population is too diverse or whatever the case may be. So we chose an area that made sure that we're going to be 100% successful. Yeah. So that was a key criteria. So what do we do from there? Well, once you've proved the concept, okay, we can then, every other town, and a lot of people ask me this question. So we got like St. Helena Bay, which is right next to, very close to Veldrift. The answer is this: you get enough people on board in your town, and we earmark it to be part of the new nation. It's as simple as that. And that is legal. Okay, that is legal in internal self-determination. And understand this: we're not doing anything illegal here. Nothing. We're doing everything by the South African Constitution and international law. So we are initially looking for internal self-determination, which puts us in the same realm as Orania, which means we can run our own affairs and we can do what we need to do within our own thing. Yes, we still have to pay the South African taxman tax at this moment in time in certain aspects, but it gives us the ability to self-govern, and that's important. What we are expecting to happen, though, is shortly after the government collapses, which is what we think is going to happen, or the economy runs out and you've got 17 million SASSA people running around burning stuff, well, then you can declare UDI. Now, UDI is a unilateral declaration of independence, and you can do that under those circumstances without having to do anything else legally. We can then declare Zuid-Land, which is already declared a republic, as independent from South Africa, and this is our territory, whichever territory we choose at that stage. I know there's other secession groups also looking at different things, but by that time it doesn't matter. We've already gotten our area, we've already built it, we've already got our economy running. As we know, we've got a system that allows us to run our own economy separate to anything else, any government, any banking system worldwide. We are independent for the first time away from the New World Order. Now, I don't know if we'll survive that, but we are.
Yeah. Okay. So there's a couple of other questions that have come up in the sidelines here, and I'm gonna shoot from there quickly if we can. Who have we got there? Somebody's asked a question. What are the people currently in the area? What do they think of the name being changed or the place being changed into Zuid-Land? Well, to be honest with you, I think people across South Africa are in the same boat. There's no them and us. We're all us at the moment.
We haven't met one of them. Let's put it this way: we haven't met one person yet that said they don't want it.
Yeah, not one. Area. Not
one. Not one on the Facebook page said, "Well, I actually don't want you here," because we all know if we don't get it, we're all in the same boat. We're going to be strangled out of our existence. So there is nobody that's going to deny the fact that we're going to come and create an economy in an area that's more than likely, well, not more than likely, I know is struggling. I know people from Aurora have contacted me after we put the stuff out on Facebook saying that they're struggling there. Well, if we're going to go and put in a brand new economy in there and they're going to have jobs and they're going to have an easier lifestyle, why would you not want us there?
Yeah, look, I'm in agreement with what somebody has said there. We're not going to go in and change names of anything. So Aurora's staying Aurora, everything's staying as it is. I mean, what we're moving in is basically we're moving in as what we term ourselves as Zuid-Land, right? So it's not that we're going to go in and change the place to Zuid-Land or to the United Southern African Federation. That will come at some point in time, but by consensus. It'll be a choice made by the people living in that area. So we're not going in to go and make any changes in terms of names or any such things whatsoever. Okay.
Yeah, I think
you want to make a name change somewhere.
No, I'm tired of the name changes already happening in this country. So I'll keep it to what the people want, and that's a key criteria. It has to be for what the people want.
Well, I see we got Reg there. I think you should give Reg a quick wave as well.
Hello, Reg. Anyway, so yeah, I think that we're not gonna detriment anybody in the area, whether you be coloured or whether you be white or whether whoever's in the area. We aren't going to detriment your life. We're going to enhance the lifestyle of the people down there. So
Dave is just asking about that, just out of interest, because he's saying, so what do the locals have to say about this? Well, in essence, though, like Rodney just said a couple of minutes ago, we've spoken to recently a few people from some of the towns, and everybody is basically saying that this is the type of thing that's needed. We're obviously, I'm actually going down to the area myself, probably back in early next week or middle of next week, to spend a few days just wandering around talking to some people. I need to go and speak to some people in the towns and see exactly what it is that they think. So we'll definitely be giving you some feedback on that very shortly.
Okay. You can read some more questions.
Okay, so what else we got? What happens if the economy moves in by the thousands? Okay, so we're talking about undesirables, I would have thought.
Nobody's employing undesirables. So undesirables, it's not going to help moving into a semi-desert if you haven't got an employment.
Yeah, not much point at all.
I'm only saying that.
Yeah.
Okay, next.
Okay, so here's Charles saying this. Has USAF got any recognition from anybody as an independent nation? Well, you know, Charles, we weren't actually expecting to get that as such.
And you won't until you've got a territory.
And you won't until you've got a territory. So it's very unlikely that we would have got that at the present moment. Okay. But we will be aiming for that at some point.
What we do have is a lot of people who are supporting us. A lot of people who wishing us good luck from other nations. And silently saying that they're behind us. Well, let's put it that way.
Yeah, I wouldn't worry too much about the enemy anyway. So let's focus on ourselves. Let's focus on growth. Let's focus on development. Let's move forward. Let's get away from this negativity that we're living under all the time. You're right there, Reg. You can't keep me away. I'll be down there next week, my friend. Okay, so guys, keep shooting. We're not going to keep this going for too much longer. What we'll do is we'll answer a few more questions as they come in.
I see somebody asked, "What's a kibbutz?" All right, so a kibbutz is an Israeli concept, and I'm probably going to explain it wrong. But it's a concept where you take an area and you put people in who then farm that area in different ways. So you could even manufacture stuff. But it's a community-based environment where the individuals work for the greater good of the community and get paid from the work that they do. There's no freeloading, so you cannot be in that environment if you aren't actually putting in effort and work. You get paid for that work, which means you've got spending money. Your products, or whatever the case may be, get sold, and that way you work yourself out of poverty. So
yeah, I think the nice thing about kibbutz as well is it's a very social environment. So, and I think in Israel, to a large extent, a lot of them are youth that travel the world and then they go spend a bit of time in a kibbutz. So the whole social aspect of it as well, because you're all living in a very close environment and you're working together and you're all at the same sort of level in society and so on and so on.
I think one thing about the kibbutz is that the guys must know is it's quite strictly run. In other words, you can't have alcohol, you can't be drinking, you can't be doing any drugs or anything like that. So it's an environment to ensure that in our case, where the guys have been pulled out of doing a job just because of the color of your skin and now you're on hard times, where you don't have the ability to pull yourself up, it gives you that ability to pull yourself up and get yourself out of what you were, because you've probably got the skills still to do it. It's just in the South African environment here, because of the color of your skin, they won't give you the opportunity. Well, we will give you the opportunity. That's what we're looking to try and achieve.
Okay, so somebody's asked a question there about water and electricity, and this is a very important factor, and I think very good for us to discuss this at the moment, because one of the targets that we want to achieve is completely off the grid living. We're not necessarily going to get that to start with. We may have to supplement, and not everybody has got the ability to go and buy solar panels and MPPTs and battery systems and backups and generators and so on and so on and so on. But we will be moving as fast as we possibly can towards sustainable living. And that means off-grid living. Okay.
Yeah, I think it's, the research we've done so far, and that's why we're going down there some more, and that's why we aren't saying move yet, because we're still looking at a few things. We'll tell you when we're ready. Is the borehole water away from the coast is very good.
Apparently Aurora's water is one of the best in the country.
Pure. When you get closer to the sea, apparently a little bit brackish, but at the end of the day, I think the reason we chose that area with the mountains and all that is because the water is available. We're not quite sure how much it can support yet, but that's okay. I think the initial pioneers that move in there, we're going to get to a point. And once this thing starts going and the investors want to come in, we're going to obviously be able to do desalination plants and those kind of things. And one of the reasons we chose an area against the coast, which a lot of people wanted. We've got a little port there in Veldrift. So it gives us the ability to do a lot of things that we want to do. So, and for our future. So, yeah.
Okay. So Alan has asked now, do we expect to have resistance from the local municipalities? Well, I think initially I don't think so. We're going to be sort of moving in there, trickling in there. I think maybe when we get to a point where there's going to be thousands of us all resisting the municipal.
Yeah, I don't think
it might be a different scenario, but
I don't think so, because remember, your municipalities are voted for by your public. And if the public want us there, the municipality doesn't have a choice. Otherwise, somewhere along the line, we'll be voted into the municipality. So, yeah, I don't see any opposition. I really, we've spoken to a lot of people. And I think everybody realized, and I think everybody on this channel needs to realize, we all know that if we don't do something, we're all in trouble. Okay, so nobody's going to resist somebody who's coming in to make life better and give us the opportunity of freedom. And we're not coming in there in a hostile takeover. We're not coming there to kick anybody out of his municipal seat. We're not coming to kick anybody out of their house or whatever the case may be. We're coming to enhance the area and to ensure that going forward, hopefully for the next 150 years, that it goes from strength to strength. Once again, remember, it's an initial area. So we aren't expecting to flood it with 2 million people. We're expecting, I would be happy with 20,000 people. We'll have enough to get that area that we're looking into 100% successful, viable, economically self-sufficient with that amount of people. Any more will just make it grow a lot quicker. But remember, from there, it will be expanding, because there's going to be, when people see it successful, the town next door, and we already had people from Hopefield, as I said, St. Helena, going up towards Lambert's Bay, Clanwilliam, saying, well, can't you guys do it here as well? Yes, we can. But we want the first area first. Once we have that, and you have then got enough votes in your town to say, well, yes, we've got enough people who really want this, we'll come and help you, and we'll get it done.
Okay, so just out of interest, there's a couple of questions that have just come up, and let's just touch on them very quickly. Rodney, just explain quickly how you see stands and sizes and costs and all that sort of coming together.
Okay, so stands at the moment, I don't want to do anything under 2,000 square meter stand. And the reason why is, I think every person who moves in there needs to be able to have their own little vegetable garden. Right? We're going to need to start becoming self-sufficient, and that we can then barter my potatoes for your tomatoes, okay, etc. So we need to get to a little bit of a space where guys can do things. They can have their own little chicken run, couple of chickens on it, whatever the case may be. And I think about 2,000 square meters gives it the ability to be farmed in a very small scale environment. You can do aquaponics or hydroponics with a little tunnel on that size, as well as have your house and et cetera around it.
So who's gonna own the stands, Rodney? Okay. I mean, that's a question.
Okay, so the individuals are going to own the stands. How are we going to do that? We're not quite sure. We've got a judge working on this for us at the moment. And we're looking at the best options, because subdivision becomes timeless and problematic. So whether it be a trust, or whether it be a share block system, or whether it be whatever system, but it will have to be legally done. It will have to be secure. Everybody who buys in would have to have that property forever and a day. There can be no way of taking that property away from you, etc., etc. So the cost involved that we're looking at the moment is probably around about 20,000 Rand for a 2,000 square meter stand. I say 1,000 normally on Facebook, just to make sure that if I have to adjust a little bit, I can. So let's say between 1,000 and a 2,000 meter square stand. But we obviously want to give the people the ability to get in there. And we're not in this to become billionaires or to rip our people off, because that's not what we're there for. And we will stop anybody from doing that. That's not what the object of this is. The object of this is to ensure freedom and safety for us and our families forever going forward. Yes, I will make some money out of it because I also have to live. I'm going to have given up everything here to go and create it, and we will, but it'll be a proper salary without being an excessive amount like our government officials take out of anything they do. But I will not be saying I'm doing this for nothing, because I don't do anything for nothing. That's stupidity.
Yeah, absolutely. I agree with you. Okay, so we've gone through a fair amount of questions. I see one of the questions is on about discrimination. And we know what we're doing is we're not discriminating. If in South Africa there was no discrimination against minority groups, I don't think any of us would necessarily want to leave. I think we wouldn't be sitting here having this conversation. We'd be perfectly happy running our own businesses, running our own lives, and not being scared in our homes. So it's not about discrimination, and we're not going to an area to discriminate against anybody else. What we're doing is we're going to ensure that we have our own livelihood, that we're able to sustain ourselves and be among people who are like-minded. There's nothing discriminatory about that. Okay, so for stand measurements and what do we got? Blockchain for register. Okay, well, I won't really go there. So, okay. Here's one for you, Rodney. Are non-Christians and gay people allowed?
Yeah, I'm not going to have somebody sitting at our border posts whenever we get fully independence saying, "Are you a Christian or are you gay?"
Well, you know what? It doesn't.
That's not how it works.
It doesn't actually matter. I mean, when you walk into Pick n Pay, if the fact that Pick n Pay doesn't like gay people, are they going to stop everybody at the door and go, "Are you gay?" Or
yeah, exactly.
So we can discriminate against you. I don't think that's
so. Let's put it this way. All right, we want to build a Christian-based society state
with Christian moral values.
Exactly.
Correct.
Right. So that's where we want to be. If you want to be in the environment and whatever you are, that's up to you. It really is. Okay. But in the schools and what we teach our children is going to be what we believe to be correct. If that offends you, then don't come in the first place.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, everybody has their own choice. But at the end of the day, we're not discriminatory. We're not here to decide how people should and shouldn't live their lives, what they should and shouldn't believe in. We just know that being persecuted as a minority for being white, and I'm talking about myself, that's not correct, and therefore I'm seeking a better alternative, and that's what we're heading for now.
Okay. Unashamedly so.
Unashamedly, yeah. Okay. All right, guys. I think that's enough. We've been on here for about 42 minutes already so far this evening. It was a good test run. I think what we'll do is we'll let you guys know when we're going to do another live stream. And maybe we can get you guys to send in some questions that you want answered prior to us doing that. And maybe we'll make it sort of once a week or something, or once every couple of weeks, and we'll do that. And we'll get, the nice thing is that you guys get to see who we are, that we are real live people, and we live exactly the same way you do. We have the same fears, the same difficulties on a daily basis. So, yeah, you're welcome to talk to us anytime you want.
Yeah, just taking the bull by the horns, and we're not prepared to sit and take it any longer. And so be it for whatever the outcome of that is. But I'm not one to be able to who sits and gets bullied. And I'm not going to be bullied by my own government. That's guaranteed. So
Leslie's just asked a question there, and it's quite an interesting question. So it's about can we build 2 homes on one stand?
Yes.
I think it's going to come down to a fact. There's going to be a committee that'll look into what sort of housing is built. You must bear in mind that what's going to be built is probably going to be what is termed temporary structures, and those temporary structures, in terms of that, will be initially.
Yeah.
Will be prescribed by the local municipality.
So obviously right now we've got to abide by the laws of what's there until such time as independence. So that's something that everybody needs to understand. So as Brian says, we might be restricted from putting up brick houses everywhere, but you won't be restricted from doing wooden houses or container houses or something like that for initially, just to be able to get around the legalities around permanent structures. So, but those are the things we're looking into before we come back and tell you guys exactly what is going to be happening. So, so those are the legalities we're going through, and we've got a team working on it, so that we can give you the proper answers.
So there's an interesting question that's just come up there. It says, I'm of the impression that there will be no independent sovereign state, and that rather an Orania. However, an Orania is a good start. Well, here's the answer to that question. And we've recently found out, and we've been discussing this with certain international people. One of the things about recognition, and we're talking about recognition from the United Nations and from other existing states, is that unless you have gone down the road of internal self-determination, external self-determination, and when I say external self-determination, we're talking about full independence of a sovereign nation, that you will not be granted that under the United Nations charters. So you have to go down the road of internal self-determination, which in essence, to a certain form and a certain extent, is what Orania has done.
Yeah, okay. You see, by the South African Constitution and by international law, everyone's allowed to do self-determination. So even our government. So a lot of the questions are, do you expect the government to come and give us a hard time? No, because it's legal. That's why they aren't giving Orania a hard time, because you're allowed to do this. So internal self-determination is 100% legal. However, if the government does come and try to restrict internal self-determination, well, then it gives you the right, even by international law, to do external self-determination, which is full independence. Correct. So we have to go down this route first, and it is the right route to go down first. If the government leaves us alone and we're quite happy and we can run our own affairs and there isn't any issues from there, well, then we'll see where we go. I think we're all going to want a sovereign nation and external self-determination at some point.
Absolutely.
And I think we're all going to be working towards it. It's once again, as Brian said earlier, it's not a flick of a switch. So this is a process that we have to go down. But one thing that we do want to do right now is we want our ability to have self-determination. We want safety. We want security. We want a community we can defend ourselves. We want the ability to, whatever happens in South Africa, whether the anarchy breaks out or whatever happens, that we're in the area where we're safe, where we've got protection, where we're far enough away from the maddening hordes that we don't become victim to their anarchy. That's where we want to be.
Absolutely, 100%. Okay, guys. So I think we've sort of exhausted our time period here. So let's just round things up. I just want to say, guys, there's if you're not registered on USAF, please go and register on USAF. If you're not registered on the banking system, please register, sign up, open an account, and start transacting. Start realizing what the benefits are of doing this. The other thing, of course, you must understand is we do have a whole group of people who are organized into committees. And these guys are working on all sorts of manner of things. We have a legal committee, and this is made up from some extremely senior legal people down to maybe some not so legal, so not so senior legal people. But we do have all these people in place, and everybody's working on their own little patch, and we're trying to figure out exactly how we do everything we can and can't do. All right. We want, as Rodney says earlier, we want to do everything legally, 100% by the book, and then hopefully down the line we will at some point in time have territorial independence, and that is what we ultimately want. Yeah,
I can almost guarantee it. I can smell it and I can taste it.
Good stuff. All right, so thanks very much, guys. Thanks for joining us. I see we got above the 40 mark, which was rather nice for our first little test. But keep tuned, keep seeing what's going on. Join up Zuidland, the Zuidland Facebook page, to see what's going on and when we're going to be live again. And yeah, nice to have you on board.
Okay, thanks, guys, and we'll see you soon. We'll do this quite often, so that you guys can come back and ask questions. We'll get it a little bit better. As I said, it's a learning curve for us. where we can see more of the questions easier and we can answer them. I wanted to try and get my phone working so that I could see the questions here, but I didn't get to that point. So, but next time we'll get a little bit better, and until such time, and that's why you walk the walk, and that's why we walk the secession walk, because you learn the lessons, and you then know what the next step needs to be. A lot of these other movements haven't even taken the first step yet, but they believe they're going to get it right, and there's no way. So I can tell you now, I don't think there's any other group that's going to make this happen as quickly and as efficiently as we can.
Yeah, absolutely. So Buzz B, thank you very much. Buzz B said he takes a hat of leadership. Thank you. And I promise you, without you, we don't even exist. Yep. So thank you.
Let's make it happen.
Okay.
Come, guys. We can make it happen.
All right, guys. Have a good evening.
Okay. Bye.
Cheers. Bye.